And start by joining my colleague Senator O'Brien welcomed elements of the budget, and indeed so do I. The retention of the 9% VAT rate, it has been a lifeline for tourism businesses, and I think that it will more than pay its way in terms of supporting job growth over the coming year as well. It's the same with the home improvement scheme. I think is a very positive initiative, and as Senator Moran has pointed out, the cuts to education weren't as bad as we had anticipated they might be. Now, of course, there have been class size cuts to our PTR increases in smaller schools that will come into effect in the next school year. But indeed, certainly the expectation that there will be much harsher cuts hasn't been realised, and I welcome that. And I think it's a direct response to the campaign that was mounted by parents and groups over the summer, highlighting the importance of education to this country's future, both in social terms and in terms of getting our economy back on track. And by senators of all parties, cross-party to the Minister as well.
Doing what the Senate is supposed to do.
Indeed, but I think it is important to note that the one sector that has been badly hit in the education budget today is the further education sector. Last year the Minister said that there was a once-off funding reduction of 25 million to that sector, and today he's announced that that guarantee that they were given last year that was once-off doesn't count, and it's been, they're being hit for that 25 million again. It's also clear from the estimates that the overall reduction is actually much higher than that. There's a difference of 62 million in the higher ed estimate for last year and for this year. We can see that the 25 million accounts for some of that. The increase in student service charge is 18.5, and of course there'll be some savings from Haddington Road, but it's not clear, and some people from the higher education sector have asked me to check if the Minister can give an assurance that there isn't also an increase in the core grant hidden in there. Because that's not clear from the numbers. The Minister for Education has not given those details, and of course there's a lot of concern in the further ed sector as it is about how they're supposed to maintain quality and compete internationally when their budgets have been reduced so much over the last few years. One of the groups that I think has been particularly hard hit over the last few years has been younger people, people under the age of 25. I've mentioned the increase in student service charge. Despite the Labour Party's pre-election promises, Minister Quinn will have presided over a doubling in the charge, but if the government actually runs its course from the 1,500 that it was when he entered office to the 3,000 that it would be in 2015, that's something that has hit low-income families very hard, people who are just over the threshold for the grant and have to pay for it themselves. We've also seen the complete removal of postgraduate grants, which has meant that people from poorer backgrounds are no longer able to access postgraduate courses, which I think is one of the most scandalous cuts, and one that hasn't got as much attention, frankly, that I think it deserves. Because it has really deprived people of an opportunity that they will need. Because the standard now for education competing with jobs has risen from the undergraduate grant that it was when I finished, or the Minister finished college. Now people are expected to have a postgrad. And I think it's very, very unfair that that's been taken out of the reach of many young people. But today as well, the members have referred to the cut in job seeker support for people under 25. Now, originally when it was cut for younger people, I thought that that was a positive initiative. I don't think it's right that somebody who's 18 years of age would walk in and get put straight onto the dole. Some of them brought in by their parents, from families of people where there's generational dependence on social welfare, and they're brought down to the dole office on their 18th birthday and told to sign on as if that's their future. I don't think that should be our expectation for our young people, regardless of what area of the country they're from. But there's a hell of a difference between that and somebody who's 25, who could at that stage already have been in college for 6 or 7 years, coming out with a high-level education and finding that if they can't get a job, and we know the rate of youth unemployment at the very least is 30%, that's the official figure, and that doesn't account for unemployment. The reality is probably somewhere more like 1 in 2 young people after finishing college can't get a job. So you're saying to those people, and the Minister referred today things like back to education. I mean, that's a much lower level of education than what some of these people would even have. And the youth guarantee, and the Minister can reply in his 5 minutes, the youth guarantee...
€60 for the back to education.
No, if they go on to that, yes. Of course, but I'm just saying that why would somebody who's finished, somebody at the age of 24 or 25, who's already been through education, could even have a master's, why would they go on to back to education to get? They probably wouldn't qualify anyway because they'd be above the educational threshold for it. So I just think that it hasn't been thought through. And the youth guarantee, indeed, but the number of places that are being offered in the youth guarantee is only a fraction of those who'll actually need them. And that's clear again from the figures that were published today. There's 2,000 on the education side, there's a few more in Jobbridge and other places. So I just think at that upper threshold of the age level, it's very, very unfair. And I
I'm
would
sorry
ask
now,
that,
but you have to ask it please to be fair to the other
looked at, and
speakers.
I will finish, and I'll thank the Minister
you.
for giving me the opportunity to make my points about education. Thank you.
Thank